Hello friends, and welcome to another video from my series Quick Thoughts On, in which I always talk about different stories from the rich Star Trek universe. Last week, CBS All Access, in the case you live in the USA, and on Amazon Prime, if you live in Europe, the next episode of Star Trek Picard premiered. It was called Absolute Candor, and these are my honest opinions about it. Brief recap of my thoughts about the previous episodes. I thought episode 1 was pretty good, episode 2 was pretty bad, and episode 3 was slightly better than episode 2. And to be honest, I think that episode 4 is very slightly better than episode 3. Slightly. The episode, as always, starts with a flashback to 14 years ago. Picard is helping to move the Romulans to the planet called Vashti. I start to slowly deal with the fact that these elves are supposed to be Romulans. I just hope this episode won't do anything which would remind me on the elves again. Why does Picard help them relocate? Do the writers know that the Romulan Star Empire was a star empire, as in they had giant resources and many planets? Only Romulus was destroyed, no other planet. I still don't get why the Federation is supposed to be relocating them. They do have other planets where they can go to, and starships they can use, right? Anyway, Picard beams down and we meet the hero, I think, of this episode, a little boy. Picard brought him to a sect of female-only Romulan assassin nuns. Yes, I said a sect of all-female Romulan assassin nuns. That sounds like a lame joke I used to do on this channel 5 years ago, but no, that's actually a real thing. Then the assassin nun tells the kid that Picard doesn't like children, to which the kid replies with the weirdest sentence ever said by a boy. Well, now my feelings are hurt. Huh? Are there any boys on planet Earth who talk like that? Was Chabon, the writer of this episode, ever a little boy? Then Picard says something weird too. He says that he loves kids, and he behaves like he means it. What the hell is going on? How could they get Picard so wrong? He goes to visit him often and behaves like a good grandpa for some reason, until one day Raffi calls him and informs him that the Synths have attacked Mars. And then he must leave and never return. Why? How could he help with the situation on Mars, which already happened? It's not like the message was that the Synths are attacking Mars right now, and every ship must fly there immediately to try to save them, right? Anyway, back in present time, Picard is finally on his mission on his new ship, but they still need one more crew member, hopefully the last one. And he told nobody because of reasons. Dr. Jurati is bored. That's very important, I guess. And Raffi is pissed that Picard didn't tell her that he wants to go back to Vashti. So they go to Picard. I have to say a few things about the starship. No, I'm not going to complain that it's one of the ugliest ships we have seen on Star Trek, but why does it look like a mall or a warehouse? It even has stairs, and it has no logical structure like any other ship. I mean, the so-called bridge is just a few chairs at the end of a corridor. Also, why does it look bigger from the inside than from the outside? It's not supposed to be the TARDIS. And this tiny little ship apparently has a holodeck. So what does Picard do on the holodeck? He recreates his chateau. Why? I was thinking about it, and the only reason I could think about was that they built the chateau set, so they wanted to use it as often as possible to amortize it. Picard is preparing it with a hospitalization hologram, which again drops an F-bomb. Seriously, what's wrong with Chabon and his F-bombs? Does he have that weird thing with his brain, which causes people to randomly swear? Anyway, Picard orders the hologram to stop, and the birds behind the window stop flying in mid-air. That's good, but why is the fire still burning? Is it a real fire inside of a holographic simulation? You know, you created this problem, right? The only reason why I noticed the fire is still on is because they have shown us the birds stopping in mid-air. Anyway, it's been a while since somebody talked down to Picard, so of course Raffi needs to tell to him how wrong he is, but thankfully nobody listens to her, and they go to the planet of Vashti. Meanwhile, back on the Borg ship, Soji watches an old interview with the Borg woman, Ramda, in which she talks again about the destroyer. She goes to visit Ramda and finds her lying in her bed, unconscious, when she gets a visit from Narek, and it suddenly changes to a romantic teenage comedy. When Picard beams down, he doesn't get a warm welcome. On contrary, they all let him know how much they all hate him, because he's responsible for the Federation not helping them. They are the offspring of the Vulcans, but they are not very logical. Picard goes to the Assassin Nuns, where he meets the famous elf Master Elrond, Lord of Rivendell. I know, it is supposed to be the little boy grown up, but let's be perfectly honest, it's Master Elrond. They argue a bit because drama, and Picard goes for a drink. Or he wants to get a drink, but there is a sign on the bar saying Romulans only. Yes, on a planet inhabited by only Romulans, there is a sign in English informing everybody non-Romulan on the planet, meaning absolutely nobody, that they can't get drunk there. Why is there in every minute of each episode at least one thing which makes no sense? He of course goes to the bar even though he knows he's not welcome there, meaning he wants to start a fight. He goes between a bunch of drunk men and intentionally provokes them, which means he wants to start a fight. So why does he look like he doesn't want to fight after he gets surrounded by the Romulans? The leader of the drunks is a black Romulan who used to be a senator, and for some reason he blames Picard of something. I don't really care. Have we seen a black Romulan before? I honestly don't remember, and I have a problem accepting the fact that the first black Romulan we see having a speaking role is a drunk guy who wants to beat the crap out of our main hero. Why does nobody on Twitter call it racist or something? So the drunks take Picard out and pull out their swords. And yes, I mean real swords. No, nothing else. Why the hell swords? Again, the only reason I can think about is that somebody has seen a picture of Picard fencing in The Next Generation, but it was the 30 years younger version of Picard, the cool Picard. This new old man Picard, or JL as Raffi calls him, drops the sword and refuses to fight. Why? Is he trying to get killed? He must know that he can't talk his way out of it, and he has no way to run, or no stamina to run, to be more precise. Don't you love when characters behave illogically because the script needs so? I remember when writers used to give explanations for the character's actions, but of course somebody saves him. Master Elrond asks the senator to choose life, but he ignores him, so Elrond decapitates him. From what I read online, I expected something gory, but this was actually kind of almost funny. His head simply fell off. Both Picard and Elrond beam up immediately. Wait, could Picard ask for beaming out when the drunks wanted to kill him? I'm not sure, and I'm not going to rewatch this. Okay, so now they have an assassin on the mission. Nice. They do have the old mentor, the tough guy, the smart guy, who is a woman, the assassin, and Rafi. So they can finally go on the mission. Right? Wrong. Suddenly they are under attack by some Romulan. Let's say some Romulan pirate. I don't care enough to rewatch it. The pirate has a 23rd century bird of prey, because of course it makes perfect sense to have a fully functioning 100 years old spaceship, and he attacks them because the script needed an action scene. And it's probably the worst action scene so far. It's a CGI space battle, so bad as any of the space battles in Discovery. I don't know who's shooting who and why, so I don't care. It's all just colorful polygons on screen, as you probably noticed. Probably. I'm not a fan of video game cutscenes. Oh, sorry, I mean photorealistic CGI visual effects. Anyway, somebody comes to help them, another ship, because the script said so. The pilot destroys his ship, and they have to beam him to their ship, and what a surprise, he is 7 of 9. And Picard behaves like he knows her from somewhere. She says that they owe her a new ship and collapses, and the episode is over. I skipped a couple of things because they're just weird and don't move the story forward. For example, a scene between Narek and his sister, Agent Rizzo. They are together in bed. The whole thing is overly sexual, it looks like an intro to a porn flick. And then she starts to strangle him, which is again something I would expect in a porn flick. Come on, what are you doing? It's so awkward to watch. Why do a brother and sister need to have sexual chemistry? I personally kind of find it disgusting. Another thing is yet another hologram, this time on the bridge, and he speaks in a different language. I think it's Spanish, but if it's not, feel free to correct me. And he is the only hologram which doesn't speak English. Why? I'm not used to ask the why question every minute. So, what are my final thoughts? Editing, slightly better than before, still pretty bad. It feels like episodes 2, 3 and 4 were supposed to be the first half of episode 2. Directing, much better than the previous 3 episodes. These 3 episodes are directed by Jonathan Frakes, and he knows how to turn even the worst scripts into entertaining episodes of Star Trek. Effects, I'm not a fan of CGI effects, but the effects in this episode, in my opinion, look really bad, worse than usually. Plot. Well, there finally is a plot, as in something is happening, but I can't get rid of the feeling that they had an idea for a decent 2 hours long movie, and decided to pad it out with some completely random boring crap. The writing is as usually bad. It still isn't Star Trek. I was really looking forward to what Chabon, a Pulitzer Prize winner, will bring to the table. But so far I'm seriously disappointed with his writing. Nothing makes sense. Every 50 minutes long script feels like it took an hour to write, and nobody thought about anything. It starts to getting close to Discovery level of stupid. And the absolutely pointless F-bombs. Why? Overall, on my standard scale from 0 to 10, where 0 is complete garbage, 10 is a masterpiece, and 5 is just average, I would give this episode 5 out of 10. The scenes in Rivendell are the only good parts of this episode, plus a few character moments. The only reason why I keep watching is that I want to know how it ends, and if Picard will die in the end of this season or in season 2. But as always, these were just my opinions. Let me know what did you think about this episode. If you're still watching it, of course. Thank you very much for watching, and see you very soon, hopefully tomorrow. Bye.